Good evening and welcome to Omnibus Roundtable TV show featuring the Forgotten Man Show. I'm Decarlo Turner, your host for the evening, and I'm the author of the book titled The Forgotten Man. We have three wonderful guests this evening and we'd like to welcome them. First, starting with our special guest, Mr. John Bizak.
Good evening.
Good evening. And we have television producer of Can TV Studios, Mr. Grady Davis. Welcome.
My pleasure.
Well, that's why I set up the way I did.
And we have Mr. Leon Loving, also television producer at Can Studios. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Okay. Thank you for joining us. Today's topic is, are you the forgotten man? And gentlemen, as you know, I've written a book, as I stated earlier, titled The Forgotten Man. And basically what my book is about, it addresses issues concerning male bashing, as well as how good men have been deceived and taken advantage of by certain types of women. And I have a question for each of you. Are you the forgotten man?
Most definitely.
Most definitely. Okay. Leon, would you like to tell us a little bit about your situation as to how you would...
How do I qualify?
Exactly.
Personally, there's been a couple of situations, several situations. Basically, I am a quiet, soft-spoken person,
Yes.
truly. And people, when you're of that nature, people think that you're dumb and crazy and stupid, but that is a misnomer.
Yes.
It's just my way of being, and quietness kept. I'm what's called a situational extrovert.
Yes.
I maintain the quiet, laid back, personality for the most part all the time. But when the situation warrants, I spring into action, and I can become very aggressive.
Yes.
or assertive. And women are dogs too.
Yes.
Women can take advantage of a man like me. They lay in the cut, they're sneaky, downright sneaky, and they take advantage of a good thing.
That sounds quite familiar as to one of my chapters in the book that I go and I talk in, chapter 9, she's a sneak. And within chapter 9, there's certain things that I describe that certain types of women do that would be construed as being sneaky, things such as looking in cell phones, checking your pockets, so on and so forth. This is probably some of the things that you're actually alluding to. And also in chapter 5, where chapter 5 of the book, I describe the game changer, which is a personality trait of a certain type of woman. And the game changer basically starts out one way and she ends up being a totally different way, unbeknownst to the man. The man has no idea. So he goes through a period of time and I can understand exactly what you say, which is exactly why, it's important for other people to know, contrary to popular belief, all men are not dogs. John, would you like to expound on that?
It depends which situation in life, or can I refer to the forgotten man, which predicament? Every way you turn in a relationship, man and woman, boy and girl, throughout all ages, you're always trying to impress your partner,
This is true.
whether it's he for her or she for him. Bring up chapter 5. How do you start out with saying men are raised, most of them, to be wanting to play the game or learn to play the game until they run across women who have a philosophy of run a game.
Yes.
It's who's first.
Exactly. In a lot of situations, what I found when I was writing this book was that there are a lot of good men, I should say. Part of what their problem was, they trusted these women. And unfortunately, they were pretty much caught up in the game because these women ended up playing a game on them, and they were not expecting that to happen. Grady, what would you can you share a little bit about your experiences?
Well, number one, it's hard for me to think of myself as being the forgotten man,
Okay.
because I must admit, quite contrary to Leon, I'm not that quiet, docile, laid back.
Okay.
I'm vocal, I'm aggressive. Many times I talk too much, but I refuse to lower my standards.
Yes.
And if I see a situation that, shall I say, is not fair, not right, I will speak up. And I've had that same attitude as it relates to relationships with women. Yes, I've had good relationships and bad relationships, but I found myself just coming to the conclusion that people are people.
Yes.
If they think that you're weak, they may take advantage of you, but you have to stand your ground and you have to make yourself, your strong points known, and in some cases you may take a chance and let it be known about some of your weak points.
Yes.
But if a person cannot handle your weak points and try to take advantage of you, you have to fall back to that defensive mode and protect yourself. I like the idea that you're saying that all men are not dogs.
This is true. That's what my back
Because
cover says.
I
Contrary to popular belief, all men are not dogs.
I totally agree with you. All
Yes.
men are not dogs,
Yes.
but it's just that people are people, and we need to. I think we need to have our game plan. We must have our standards, and if one person violates those standards, do not assume that the entire world is like that. You know,
This is true.
if one woman breaks your heart because you didn't have enough money, you didn't drive the right car, you didn't dress a certain way, do not think that all of them are like that. And likewise, the women should not be thinking that, because from my experience, I ran into a number of situations. The woman was primarily interested in getting married, but they would do anything and everything just to do everything
Just
they
to
could
get
to
to
get
that
you
point.
get to that point.
Yes, yes.
Now whether or not if they were a good housekeeper, if they could balance a checkbook, if they had a library card, and that's another one of my standards.
Yes.
I like a woman with a library card, because
Wow.
that means she's a reader, and as a rule, it may imply that she's somewhat intelligent.
Yes. Wow. That's good to know, ladies. I have a couple questions for you, gentlemen. One in particular, I'd like to kind of talk about a little bit. When a man trusts a woman and he falls in love with her, and later he finds that he's been taken advantage of, does it do something to the man, to his ego, when that actually happens? John?
Definitely.
Yes.
It whether that same relationship can withstand that punishment, so to speak,
Yes.
your guard goes up.
Okay.
If you move on to a new relationship,
Yes.
you do everything to watch for those signs so that doesn't happen again.
So basically what you're saying is that when a woman performs these acts, or if she's being deceitful, if I may say that, if a woman is being deceitful, what happens is similar to how women feel when things happen to them in other relationships. Right. The same thing applies to a man. So in other words, your guard not only goes up, but it kind of causes you to put this protective shield. So now you're protecting your heart. Do you believe that when a man is hurting, that he hurts deeper than a woman when that happens? Or do you think it's pretty much the same?
It's the same,
Okay.
but I think everyone will be in agreement, men and women. Guys pout.
Okay.
They try to make it worse than what it really is.
Okay. Okay.
I for one.
Okay. Okay.
But I also try to bounce back
Okay.
and make it obvious that I'm bouncing back.
Would you gentlemen agree with that? Jan?
I don't know that if men pout.
Okay.
Some do, some do.
Some
I
do,
probably
some
do
don't.
sometimes,
Okay.
but I don't know that all men pout. Some just let it all hang out.
Okay. How about you? Brady?
Strangely enough, I have a very interesting little cliche. When one disappoints you, they are just like buses. stand on a corner and wait for another one to come along.
I've heard women say that.
Yeah.
I've heard women say that time and time again.
Is that a city bus or a school bus?
Well, it's a city bus.
Yes, yes. Okay, all right. Another question for you gentlemen. As you know that there are other authors who have written books that basically, in my opinion, stereotype men, and they put men all in the same category, as well as teach women how to manipulate situations in order to get what they want out of a man. Do you feel that this is necessary? And if so, what happens when a man finds out that she's actually playing a game with him? In other words, she's trying to manipulate the situation in order to get something, if not everything, that she wants out of a man. How do you feel about that?
I think it's on both sides.
Okay.
Guys as well
Yes.
do that
Okay.
to get the most out of not just the relationship,
Yes.
but myself personally want it equal.
Okay.
If one plays it, I'm going to play it.
Okay. I guess what I'm asking in a sense is, do you find that it's really necessary to play the game?
I would say yes.
Okay.
It is necessary to play the game.
To
Why?
what degree?
Primarily because you are attempting to establish a level of trust.
Okay.
And if you put those little carrots out there, and if she violates those little carrots, you know, or you should have an idea of what to expect.
Yes.
Okay? If you have, as I said before, if you have your standards, that you mentioned once before about women who like to go through a man's pockets, a
Yes.
woman who likes to look at his cell phone. Number one, is that reciprocal? Can I go through your purse, your pocket? Can I look through your coat? Can I look
Right.
at your cell phone?
Yes.
Now, if there's no understanding about that, to me, that violates trust.
I agree totally. I find that I'll just speak from past relationships that I've had. That's something I've never had a desire to do. I feel like this as adults, you know, you can't worry about the things that you can't control. So why look through a man's pockets or anything like that? I mean, what is it going to make a difference? Even if, you know, a woman finds out, if she's looking, what did you accomplish by doing so? You know, did you really accomplish anything, you know, by doing that?
I'm laughing because over the last 16 years,
Yes.
I've moved 7 times, but I still have the same address.
Wow.
Explain.
My
Explain that.
son wasn't even 3 months old yet, and he's going to be 17 on December 10th.
Okay.
Happy birthday, Christian.
Happy birthday, Christian.
I got a post office box because his mother would open every piece of mail that came in the house.
Wow.
Whether it had her name on it, even if it was just John Bezak,
So
she'd open it.
sneaky, so sneaky and jealous.
I got a
Combination
post
of
office
both.
box.
Wow.
Wasn't hiding anything, but if I had bills that came in or something and I bought her a gift,
Yes.
I don't want her to know. It's none of her business what I paid for it.
Exactly. What do you say, Leon?
Well, I think that the whole thing is, like Grady was saying, sometimes you have to throw out little niblets out
Little
there.
kibbles and bits out there.
Yeah, for them to kind of trip up on. Because me myself, I have a saying that, you know, I was always willing to throw you a rope. You can pull yourself in on it, or you can hang yourself with it.
Okay.
You be the judge.
So would you say that that would be that would apply when a man is trusting a woman with his money? Say, for instance, you know, you've met somebody and you decide at some point in time that this is the person that you're going to spend the rest of your life with. And once you make that commitment, you start getting into, you know, bringing everything together as one. Do you basically throw out those, I'll say, kibbles and bits, if you will? Do you throw those kibbles and bits out there to see if you can trust her? In other words, it's almost like fishing. You put the bait on the hook, so you're kind of taking it and you throw it out there a little bit and you just kind of reel it in a little bit to see, you know, if she's going to take the bait or not. And then as time goes on, maybe you add a little bit more bait. Would you say that that's pretty much what a lot of men do to see if they can trust a woman?
I think they
definitely.
should do something like that.
Yeah.
And you know
Yeah.
what? It could start on the first date.
Yes.
Because if I invite you to dinner,
Yes.
okay, and right off the bat, I want you to pay the bill.
Yes.
That's not consistent with I think, a true relationship.
Right.
But if I invite you to dinner, and we go out to dinner, say 3 or 4 times, and if I'm concerned about having money, one of the tests may be, on one of those dates, I may leave my credit card at home, just
Okay.
to see what your reaction is going to be.
Okay.
Also,
to see if
one
she's
of-
a gold digger.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Do you have
I
a
get
50
it.
hidden in
I
your
get it.
shoe? Or?
Okay.
I may.
Okay. How about you, Leon?
I don't really play a lot of games.
Okay.
I'm straightforward,
Yes.
but I do know that women, after you've been with them for so long, they tend to change. I call it, they go in the closet and pull out their gorilla suit. They're like chameleons, they change quickly, suddenly,
Okay.
They're the master of disguises.
Okay. That's interesting that you say that, because once again, in chapter 5 of my book, The Game Changer, that is a part of the description of a game changer, what a game changer does. Let's talk about how you feel. Chapter 2 of my book, what about how you feel? Let's talk about overspending, lying about finances, find those new price tags, you're looking for other things, and all of a sudden, you're looking and you find these price tags. Supposedly, there's no money, but all of a sudden now, let's say you made an agreement to try to save, and come to an agreement to try to do something together where you can make a purchase of some sort. But you start looking around, and all of a sudden you start seeing little things, things hidden in the back of the closet, and things of that nature. What about how you feel, John?
I pulled it out,
Okay.
left it laying on the bed.
You didn't throw it away?
Oh no.
Oh.
Asked, what's this?
Okay.
I thought we were saving for something.
Yes.
We were going to go on that trip to Disney. Remember?
How did that make you feel?
Kicked in the face.
Yeah. And suppose you decided to go and purchase something like a sports car, or, just do something that you want to do, go golfing, or did you get the
I
third
did it.
degree about that?
No.
No. Okay.
I went and bought a 2-door sports car after my son was born, and when I brought it home, that's the last thing we need. We needed a 4-door car, so I took it back to the dealership
that was
and got
all
it.
that
I
was
turned
said.
it back in that same day and got a 4-door.
Oh my! Wow! Some of the men that I actually interviewed, when we talked about them finding various purchases, and then they decided that they would go out and buy things such as sports cars or shirt and tie or so on and so forth, they weren't quite as fortunate to just have a calm conversation. It literally went into getting called different types of names and so on and so forth. Yes. What about you, Grady?
Well, strangely enough, I have always admired a woman that was independent like that.
Yes.
But again, I would respect the independence, going back to what we said before, as long as it wasn't sneakiness.
Yes.
Because the women that I have had an association with, if we're going out someplace and they pull out a new pair of shoes, they pull out a new dress, well, I'm happy to see that. Not because it may not have no impact on my finances, but I like that level of independence. But
Yes.
as long as there's that level of honesty.
What would you say about women who appear to be very needy? Would you have a problem with a woman who is in need? The reason why I ask that is because in my research I found that men found it women who would not necessarily beg, but yet ask for a lot, so to speak, they had a problem with that because, as you say, you know, they were looking for, some were looking for women to be independent. And then there's other men that will say, you know, if I look at this woman, I pretty much know just by having conversation with her, or if I visit her home, I automatically know that she needs something. What would you say about that?
Is that the type of woman you're looking for?
Okay. It's a fair
You
statement.
say that's not the type of woman.
No,
you're looking
is it?
Is it the type
Oh,
of
Is
woman
it?
I
that you're
agree.
looking for?
I agree.
Okay.
Ms. Turner, I may ask one question, and that simply is, can you balance the checkbook, dear? When was the last time you balanced your checkbook?
Yes.
And if she tells me, well, I don't balance my checkbook, or I don't know how much I have in the checkbook,
That's a
in a
problem.
sense, that's a red flag.
Absolutely.
Because she's not in control of her own money.
And you can't trust her with yours.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Okay. At what point does a man say, I've had enough?
It varies.
Okay. Varies based upon.
He's learned a lesson.
Okay.
He's had it up to here.
Okay.
He's about to blow a stack.
Okay.
It varies
just-
from man to man,
man to
situation to situation, woman to woman,
Okay.
woman to woman.
So in other words, there
I wouldn't say there's any standard. of
no
saying-
standard, right?
Right.
Each and every man
Yes.
has a certain tolerance level.
Right.
Okay. All right. John.
If I find the new dresses and the new shoes hidden in the back of the closet, but then I go out and buy something, and when I bring it home, whether I hide it or not, which I really never hid it, and I get yelled at.
Okay. What would you say, I should say, what would you say? Has it ever happened where you as a man has made a purchase for someone, made a purchase for a woman, you bought her something that you thought was really nice, and then when you presented it to her, you found out later that she took it back and kept the money? Has it ever happened to you before?
It has never happened to me.
Never happened.
No,
Okay.
no.
All right. Okay. All right. One last thing. Qualities men look for in women. Would you say that respect, acknowledgement, and appreciation are things that men look for in women
Yes.
to deliver?
Yes.
Would you say that those things are
list.
important?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Let's talk about Mother's Day versus Father's Day.
Okay.
What would you say would be the reason why Mother's Day is so much bigger than Father's Day?
Because we put major emphasis on it,
Okay.
and rightfully so.
Okay, all right.
I think Mother's Day, there are 3 primary days in the course of the year. Of course, Christmas, of course, Valentine's Day, and Mother's Day. You notice I didn't say Halloween.
Right.
But, but Mother's Day is just, well, it's just that special day because it seems like we have so many mothers, and maybe not biological, but we have the aunties who have been aunties.
Yes.
We have the cousins, and some of the cousins who have children, and some of the cousins who don't have children, but still we look upon them as being mothers. And I truly enjoy Mother's Day. One of the things, if nothing else, on my job, I worked for the Postal Service for 40 years. One of the things I attempted to establish was a pre-Mother's Day dinner on the job. That was a major hit.
Yes.
And I do the same thing at my church now. It's just, I think I enjoy Mother's Day just like the women do, without the presents and the candy and the flowers, because I just love the idea of serving them.
Yes.
Could you restate that question? Say it again.
Yes. When it comes to Mother's Day and Father's Day, what would you say that why Mother's Day would be, far more important or would be celebrated more?
I don't
than
know if
Father's
it's
Day?
any more important, but I know it's a money-making thing.
Okay.
It's money-making, and as many of you may know, each year on my show, My Guest Ain't Guessing, I do a salute to fathers. Over the years, I've subtitled them Fathers, the Unsung Heroes, Fathers, Our Parents Too, things of that nature. And it's kind of funny to me that each year it's inequality. Each year, come Mother's Day, you go to a restaurant, you have to stand
Around the block.
2 or 3 times around the block.
Yes.
Come Father's Day,
Yes. You can sit
the
anywhere you like.
restaurateurs are,
Yes.
they come outside the restaurant begging folks to come in,
Yes.
come on in, come on in.
Yes,
And this is an inequality to me. But fathers, they are nurturers too. They care for their children. So we are human beings, parents. We're the unsung heroes.
That's important that you say that, because what a lot of people don't understand, we do have a lot of fathers who are unsung heroes. We have fathers who take care of their children. They have small children that they raise by themselves without a significant other. They get up in the middle of the night, they take care of their children, they make sure that their children are fed, they make sure that the children are clothed, they send children to school, and so on and so forth. We have fathers that are truly Mr. Moms, but you don't hear much about that.
Right.
And that's one of the things that I talk about in my book. I talk about all these good men that nobody really acknowledges or gives the recognition to them that they actually deserve. Grady, tell us a little bit about your show, the Grady's Notebook.
Grady's Notebook is my effort to bring as many positive ideas and commentary and interviews to the stage as I possibly can. It's an offshoot of my experience with one of my great heroes, and that was Mr. Lou Palmer.
Okay.
Because I was involved with Lou Palmer in the 70s and 80s. He was one of, as I said, one of my absolute heroes. And of course he had Lou's Notebook. And so in coming down to CAN TV, I was involved with the Tuskegee Airmen. As I eased away from that, I decided to develop Grady's Notebook.
Okay, wonderful. John, briefly tell us about your profession. Got to wrap it up.
The Holiday Inn Hotel
Yes.
Conference Center, Chicago Matson.
Yes.
I've been in hotels since I was 31 years, or for 31 years, since I was 16 years old, as a
Okay.
bellman,
Yes.
sales
Okay.
and marketing, and director the last 15 years.
Wonderful. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you for visiting with us this evening on the Forgotten Man Show. For more information, you can go to my website at www.theforgottenman.decarloturner.com or my email at decarloturner@yahoo.com. Thank you and have a great evening. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. It was a pleasure having you.